Welcome back to the Charismatic Voice. Today we're going to be looking at our patron's choice, which is Kamelot performing Sacrimony. But this is a special performance. During this performance, the original singer Annette Olsen was sick. And so Elize Ryd or Ryd, not sure how to pronounce her last name, it's R-Y-D, and Alissa White-Gluz took over. And I'm really excited because I haven't heard either of these singers before, but Elise is in Amaranth and Alissa is in Arch Enemy. So I'm excited to hear these new voices. And on top of that, we're going to be listening to lead singer of Kamelot at this time, who is Tommy Karevik. Before I've heard Kamelot with Roy Khan, who was amazing. But I have heard Tommy once before and a little bit in Seventh Wonder. But I heard him on the channel in Arion, and I was really blown away. It was like a great, great voice. So this sounds to me like we're about to have three great voices come together, and that's super exciting. Let's get to it.
Like a night without awakening. The truth is lost and maybe never to be found. Like the shadows on my pantomime.
Yeah, Tommy's voice is glorious. It's really glorious. Oh man, I think it'd be very difficult to choose between Roy and a Tommy. They're both just really, really good. I feel like it's different flavors, but still ice cream, you know, like they're both great. I immediately love having both the snarl in the sound and some loft or like dome in the voice. We've got some nice easy vibrato that enters, but really clear diction. And it sounds like lots of space while just having this great enunciation and focus on the sound. This started very suddenly. So I'm going to go back to the beginning and listen to it one more time. It was like, ha-ha, sound.
Passing life each day, I carve it on a wall. It's like a night without awakening.
Oh, interesting. Look at his mic technique there. He's really using the mic to help with some different kinds of sounds. I like some of the creaking sound where you almost hear like a little bit of fry, then he'll enter into the sound or just come back off of it and go into a little bit more fry. Very interesting, very, feels very personal, essentially.
It's like a night without awakening.
Interesting mic technique.
The truth is lost and maybe never to be found. Like the shadows on my pantomime.
Delicious.
When our world is down for the final feast, will there be someone to believe in me? Voices echoing in my distorted mind. Is this for real or just a dream?
Wow. His belt is beautiful. It's so centered on the pitch, and it has that balanced tone that I love, right? Where it has like, it sounds like it's riding the air very nicely. So it's like got some spin happening in it. And you have, again, that feeling of like a little more dome or loft going, but then this focus in the front is just beautifully balanced. Let's go back. I know we might listen to his voice a bunch. Sorry / not sorry. It's great.
Voices echoing in my distorted mind. Is this for real or just a dream?
Okay, so where is that that distortion growling coming from? Is that him? Is that somebody else? I don't know. But I definitely hear some growling in there. And he's talking about this distorted mind, right? So it makes sense that this would come in kind of in the background as backing vocals. But I wonder if there's somebody else here that's performing it, or maybe if he somehow has gone into that. Back one more. Weird. Okay, his line there is going over a really, really wide range, but he makes it seem effortless. Like he doesn't make us feel like he's having to jump very far. He's keeping all of those notes essentially threading through a really similar area in this forward mask. Though he's keeping, I think, around the same amount of loft on each of them as well to keep that balance. And this makes it feel like they're not so far apart. In reality, he's having to make a lot of tiny adjustments in here. Some singers are more aware of that, some aren't. My guess is that he is aware of it because he does it so fluidly, essentially to make it feel like we don't have a huge transition when you make a huge jump up to a high note. A singer often needs to start the lower notes in that same position of the high note so that there isn't a big shift that we hear when they reach that high note. And this is happening a lot already. I'm very curious how much more it happens in this song too. Back a little more. Yeah, that's really well prepared. Tell me what they say that I'm supposed to know. Tell me every little detail. Make tears appear for me as distant memories. Like pictures on a silver screen. I hope clear, the truth will appear. Forever out there for you. Ooh, cool. Hello entrance of one of our singers. I think that's Elise, but I'm not entirely sure. I looked at some pictures of them before, and I think that she's Elise. It's really hard to research this without watching it, just so you know, but I also have some really excellent notes, so thank you to everybody that helped prepare those. Let's go back to Tommy for a moment here. He's doing something that I often coach singers to do. I've been coached to do it as well. It's really, really helpful for essentially like balancing some of the dynamics in the voice. So when he comes back down to lower notes, I really hear a lot more like forward, almost like right around the mouth placement. So like instead of going down and letting the sound sort of chunk back and almost get a little swallowed as it goes down, it goes down and he's really almost like aiming it like as if it were going over a hump or over a bump. And trickling down, like do down a spider web kind of idea. If you continue to place the voice down this way as you go down into lower notes after singing something really high, it helps keep the lower voice really present in the sound. And I hear him very actively doing this. That is fantastic technique. I think that he's aware of doing this. I'm not entirely sure. Sometimes these things are natural, but maybe he's just thinking to keep it present, but that is the main way that you would keep it present as you go down in pitch. Really cool. Let's see. Let's go back here. Right here. He'll do it again in a bit. Tell me what they say. Very right there. I'm supposed to know. Tell me it's like as he's singing, you hear that he's already got that stretch up to a high note prepared. I want to hear him a lot more. Make tears appear for me as This is such a cool entrance. I know she was mixed in there. It's a little bit hard to hear her though. Beautiful costume, really beautiful costume. My first impression of her voice was it had a lot of depth in the timbre. It almost sounded deeper than Tommy's voice at that point because of that timbre. Really cool. Let's keep going. Oh, here's the other girl, Alissa. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. Yeah. She's got some pretty cool harsh vocals going on there. Okay, Alissa. I think this is Alissa now. I thought her entrance for singing was going to be clean vocals. I'd read that she does do harsh vocals sometimes, but whoa. She seems like she's like a demoness. Wow. Totally unexpected. I'm loving the different frequencies that she's doing these harsh vocals at. So often when we think about singing clean vocals, we're thinking about different pitches. Like, oh, this is an A4. Oh, this is an A5. And all those things in between. Harsh vocals still have pitches. They just tend to have a wider range. So you don't have like a fundamental frequency as a pitch you can define. But if you were to look at it within like a microscope that looks essentially at sound frequencies, which would be a spectrogram. If you looked at that, you would see that the frequency of harsh vocals really can vary. It covers a wider range, kind of like sibilants, like an S or an F. Those have frequencies too that cover a wider range, but you would see it brighter essentially when it's higher. You would see it brighter, higher on that spectrogram, or brighter on the lower stuff. Overall, a lot of her sounds like there's a really high brightness to it that's closer to something like sibilants, like an S. Let's go back. That was a cool entrance. Oh yeah. Ooh, actually, let's go back a little bit more. It sounds like Elise has a beautiful, just lilty, classical ooh-ah on top of that. I wish I could hear that more. She's fierce. The fantasy nerd in me right now is loving these costumes so much, so much. I wonder if they ever have people cosplay as them. I feel like that might happen. I love the like the dark and the light, probably some sort of good and evil mixture that's happening there. But wow, and the hair and the makeup, everything down to it. I loved getting into costume when doing operas. It's just so much fun. And how much fun would it be to get into costumes like this every night for your own show? You get to play a character of your own making. Wow, cool. Okay, let's keep going. Yeah! Mad keyboard skills. It looked like he was doing like an actual chromatic scale with the right finger. That was more than just chromatic scale good fingering. That was cool. I think I read before this in the notes as like a side note. I believe that guy is the husband of Simone from Epica. Oliver, I believe is his name. I believe. Anyhow, just shout out. That was some really, really great dexterity in the fingers there, and beautiful crossing. Even has like nice looseness in the wrist and all the good stuff. Okay. Wow. Elise has a much more rich sound than I was expecting. It's that deep timbre again. It's got like a certain throatiness to it. It sounds much more mezzo in timbre to me. It has just beautiful warmth in it already, and I think she's pretty young at this point. It's going to be great to hear how her voice develops. But similar, where she was negotiating some of those bigger jumps very well. And of course, all of these three have amazing stage presence. I want to hear that again. Man, I love her high belt here. This makes so much sense too. When I see, they were talking about wrong leads to right or something. Sing for me, angel of afterlife, calming me down, chaos inside my nebula, and make the wrong turn to right in a celestial light. Forgive my sacrimony. Ooh, that's cool. That makes so much sense for some of the costuming as well with this. Though I wonder if these are normal costumes, because I've seen Elise in a similar costume before. But that makes sense to have sort of like the angel of death and the angel of life, like good and evil in there, because both could be technically in the afterlife, right? A wrong turn to right in celestial light. Oh, I like that. I like that. Very interesting how they're interacting on stage as well. I've been in a situation where I have suddenly stepped into the shoes of another person that was needing cover for them when they were sick. And meeting my colleagues on stage was very exciting. Sometimes you're lucky enough to have a rehearsal. They probably had one or a couple. But man, that energy of the audience and experiencing that with somebody else on stage for the first time is a very intense and a very exciting experience. Sometimes I think you find that moment where you connect really well on stage. And I'm seeing some of that happening here. It's really neat to see it. Let's go back one more time. Yeah, look at them. Look at them connecting. That's awesome. Elise Ryd. I mean, obviously they have lots of experience performing. I'm just not sure if they performed in a setting like this before. So I'm really curious what that was like for them, just being tossed into it. Super cool. Love the different vocals and the way that they were sounding together, the way it brought different colors in there. I'm going to go back one more time. Look at the way that Elise grounds herself. She's very actively grounding herself at one point when she's about to go up for a high belt. There. Man, that was perfect timing. Should have sounded like, here's my spot. Rawr. and holding that hand up. Again, you guys probably know this. Holding the hand up helps keep the rib cage expanded. It can be really great for high notes as well. So very interesting to see her do that too. Really great technique all the way through for getting super grounded high belt. Nice.
Give it up for Alissa White-Gluz and Elize Ryd from Emirates.
Awesome. If the intention was to make me want to dig into 3 more singers regularly, yes. Thank you, patrons. That's exactly what I want. Now, there's so many good singers that I want to listen to all the time. This is difficult. This is difficult, but it's a good difficulty to have. I have to say, very, very impressed with that first hearing of Elize from Amaranth. Okay, so note to self. I know I've seen Amaranth suggested before. Elize goes with Amaranth. Really, really great supported belting there. Heard a little bit of operatic moments as well. I would definitely love to check her out more. And very curious about Alissa as well in Arch Enemy. We got just like a tiny snippet of those growls, but I think she was doing some clean singing at the end as well. Yeah, she had a really wide range of different use. I think, man, all kinds of different harsh vocals I think she was using in there. Oh, that was intense. It was a very, very quick show of a lot of different things she could do with harsh vocals. I would love to hear more of that. And of course, Tommy. Wow. I will probably do another Tommy song sometime soon on the channel. Let me know below which songs you recommend the most. We do track your recommendations. We absolutely will react to and analyze the songs that you recommend the most. So know that you're heard and recommend good stuff, please. Like this. Patrons, thank you so much for this choice. This was really, really fun for me to hear. And it was so much fun too. I knew I liked Kamelot with Roy Khan, and I like Kamelot with these 3 as well. I think Kamelot is really cool. We should hear more Kamelot too. Oh, so many choices. Help me out, guys. Tell me below in the comments which ones I need to listen to next, please. And also come and see me on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays at 8 a.m. Arizona time here for live premieres. And you can find me obviously on Patreon, where we have a really, really cool group of people. Just saying, they're like top shelf. And you can also find me at thecharismaticvoice.com if you want to take courses about music or about singing. I'll see you guys somewhere soon.